Hi everyone, my name's Rosalind and I'm a Christian author and Bible teacher. And the purpose of being with you today is to help you understand abuse and tactics abusers use. For today's session, I'm going to run through my abuse algorithm, and there'll be consecutive sessions after that to go through a lot more detail because there's a lot to go through. Now, in saying that, before I start, I have written my first book, From Fear to Faith, My Life with God, How the Love of God Rescued Me from Abuse. Obviously by myself, Rosalind Stewart. You can get it in Westbow or at Westbow Press in all different forms. So hardbook, hardcover, softcover, audiobook, ebook. All right, and that'll go through and lay a really solid foundation for you. All right, so today, as I said, I want to run through an algorithm. This will give you an overview of what I will be talking about in general. All right, and I want to give you just that bit of a snapshot first of all. Okay, so an abuser uses fear to gain dominance, power, and control over you. And the purpose of this is to invade your territory, conquer your territory, reign your territory, so that they can remove your boundaries, remove your voice, and remove your opinion. And this leaves you dependent, silent, and obedient to them, and without supports. Okay, so how do they do what they do? They systematically target your vulnerabilities, your supports, your worth and value, and your perception and your judgment. They take away, by doing this, they take away your independence and your freedom, your self-esteem, your self-confidence, your self-trust, and your trust in other people. And they do this by being what I call a wolf in sheep's clothing. So just lying, basically, pretending and deceiving. And they do this also by forcing and faking trust. All right, so they bait you, lure you, trap you, a bit like a hunter. Well, just like a hunter, they are hunters looking for prey. And just as an FYI there, it's got nothing to do with being weak, sensitive, or not being resilient. It is everything to do with their character and that they are targeting your vulnerabilities. Okay, but we'll talk about that later. All right, so further what they target are, or what they do is, they're full of pride. So, they'll be very self-inflated. That's one of the warning signs. And then they'll be criticizing or rejecting you. Those are two. Those three there are, for me, the biggest warning signs. When someone's full of pride, full of criticism, full of rejection, red flags all over. All right? And then they're full of lies and deception. Okay, so that's a little bit of a snapshot of why they do what they do and how they do it and what I'll be going through. Obviously there's a lot more to go through, but I just wanted to say a few things for my very first YouTube video, or my second one. I'm doing a little short, so forgive me, I'm a real novice. I don't even have Twitter or Facebook or any of those things. I'm pen, paper, email, and telephone. That's it. So yeah, do forgive me, but I just need to get the information out there. I can't stress or worry about the aesthetics or anything like that. I just need the information is what's important to you, okay? Because there's so many people who've either been through abuse or who are currently going through abuse. And that's the thing that keeps getting impressed on my heart, is that I can wait and I can stress about how perfect this is, while there are people out there currently this second going through living hell. Okay? Whether it's at work, whether it's home, little children, they're completely defenseless. There's people all over the world in all different situations. And this is why it's not just about domestic abuse. Even though that's one of the things that I went through within the family, but it's all types of abuse. Abuse is the umbrella. And then you have things like your domestic abuse, your workplace bullying, your schoolyard bullying, elder abuse, all that kind of stuff. So that's why it's so important to understand abuse, understand the character which I'm about to go and chat about now, so I'll be quiet or I can keep talking. Save that for other sessions. But yeah, I just need to get up and get on with it and leave the rest to God. Okay? Alright, so it's really important. So that was a little bit of a snapshot of the tactics that they use, but obviously there's a lot more to go into detail. Huge amount to go into detail, but that's sort of just little snippets of what I'll be talking about. So to be able to deal with an abuser, you need to learn to respond to why they're doing what they're doing, which is their character, their agenda, and their tactics, instead of reacting to what they're doing, all right, which is their behavior. And the reason is, this is critical because they want you to react. When you react, it tells them that they've been able to manipulate you, either physically or emotionally manipulate you, which tells them in turn that they are able to control you. And that is their agenda. So it doesn't matter if you're filled with fear and anxiety and don't even speak around them, or if you're just screaming, shouting, and hysterical in response to, what their behavior is. They want you to react, okay? They delight in that. They don't care how it is, like how you react. They just want you to react. So learning to respond is really, really important. Now, it's not about stuffing your emotions down or ignoring your emotions. It's about registering your emotions, going, okay, yep, thank you. It's like an alarm. Thank you. I take note. Now I'm going to take over. As in the response side of you is going to take over. It's a bit like calling the fire brigade. Let's say you've got a fire, you raise the alarm. That's your job, raise the alarm. Then the fire brigade, they come in and they take over. They do all the scary work, okay? And that's what I'll go through with you as well, teaching you about that. But I want to be very clear, it's not about stuffing your emotions down or ignoring your emotions. It's about not letting your emotions be what reacts to them. Instead, you're going to respond logically and to the facts in a way that keeps you safe from them and protected from them as best as possible. All right, so to be able to respond to why they're doing what they're doing, it's about learning and understanding. So we're going to go backtracking. It's about learning their character, their agenda, and then really learning all their tactics. So for their character, me, obviously I'm a Christian now. I know there'll be many of you who aren't Christians. My little sister said to me when she read the book, I didn't read all, I bypassed all the Christian stuff. But she loved it, which is great. So this book is for anyone. But obviously I'd love everybody to come to faith because it's just saved my life. Anyway, moving along. So having a look at their character, their agenda, and their tactics is really important. As I said, from a faith perspective, the way I see it is that you have Satan. He is the father of abuse. He is pure evil. And then he works through people and tempts people to follow evil. And evil is a choice, and which is obviously what abuse is. It's pure evil. There's no other word for it. And he tempts people, and people go, yep, sure, I'm going to do that. So because it's so confusing, abuse is so confusing to tie down. So for me, the way I understand abuse is from a biblical perspective. So overall, in the Bible, what is Satan? He's called the father of lies and the accuser of the brethren. So abusers, they're liars, and they're accusers, okay? Always finding fault with you, criticizing, putting you down, that kind of stuff. Satan's goal in the Bible is to kill, steal, destroy, and that's exactly what abusers want to do, if they're able to. As we know, unfortunately, all the statistics and all that kind of stuff in the media about the horrific stuff that happens, that's the end result of their tyranny. So just to be aware of that. I'm trying to keep focused here. There's so much to talk about. I'm trying to just keep focused, so please forgive me. All right, so then next I have a look at in heaven. So what was heaven? What was Satan like in heaven? What did he want to do? He was full of pride. He wanted to be number one. He wanted to be God. So he challenged God. So he was full of rebellion. So pride and rebellion. All right. And then in Eden, what did he want to do? He wanted to take revenge on God because God kicked him out of heaven. So he's full of vengeance. And the reason he's targeting God's children is because that's the best way to hurt God. And that's what abusers will do. They will target whatever is important to you to hurt you. So it's payback. And they're filled, vengeance is their blood. Okay? It just runs through them. Anyway, so yeah, vengeance and deceit. Obviously, Satan lied or deceived Adam and Eve in the garden. It was their choice to follow through, but he was deceiving, so he's full of deception, full of lies, which is why he's called father of lies. And then on earth, okay, what is he here on earth? So think of the 7 deadly sins. What are they? Pride, greed, gluttony, wrath, sloth, lust and envy. So that is a little snapshot. It's not a little snapshot, it's a massive, it's a lot in there. But that's a little glimpse of, what his character is. And again, I'll go through this all in more detail in other sessions. But I just want to give a bit of an introduction. So that's his character. So when you're dealing with abusers, by understanding their character, you're realizing I'm not dealing with a normal human being. Because with all those character traits, they have no remorse, they have no regret, they have no self-reflection, they have absolutely no empathy, no care, no compassion, no kindness. They don't give a damn about you, okay? Unless they can use you, you're in their way, you're on their hit list, you're their target. So it's about knowing the beast that you're dealing with. A normal person, you do conflict resolution. With an abuser, you just need to get safe and get supports, all right? Until you learn and until you feel safe and comfortable to actually deal with them. Again, that's a whole other lesson that we'll be going through. All right, so what is their agenda? So I've briefly talked about their character, now their agenda. They want to be number one and at all cost. By your sheer presence, you are a threat to them. You threaten their position as number one, even though that's not your intention. In their little mind, in their little playbook, you are threatening them. And that is for anybody in their existence. So they're either going to try and destroy you, or if somebody else is in a higher authority for them and they can't, they're going to try and use you. Okay? But that is what is in their mind. They have to be a number one at all times and at all costs. All right. So again, when you're interacting, being aware, that's what their mindset is. Okay? Again, as I said, you're not dealing with a normal human being who wants a relationship. They want to rule over you. That's it. So if you think of it this way, for an abuser, it's all about me. Their existence, their mind, their perspective, everything is all about me. Whereas a normal human being, it's all about we, okay? How can we resolve conflict? How can we help each other out? How can we be loving and kind and caring and compassionate? How can we forgive? But that's not them. So again, you need to know the beast that you're dealing with, all right? And that will help dictate how you're going to manage them. And then the tactics, as I said, I did that little brief rundown at the very beginning of this video. Oops, that's my cat.